All right, we are back. By the way, my buddy Jim Miller, former NFL QB, he's next door in Sirius there, Sirius NFL Radio. He's going to join us at 1:30 your time, 12:30 our time. In an hour, he will join us because we will talk a little bit more here, and then Manny Navarro will be joining us in about 25 minutes. So we'll have a little fun with Manny. We'll bring Jim on. We'll talk AFC, NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, and we'll get his thoughts on the quarterbacks here at the Senior Bowl and overall Burrow and Tua and all that good stuff. We'll get him to talk about that. So he played the position, right? He knows a little something about quarterbacks, right? Now, speaking of quarterbacks, D'Eriq King has agreed to enter the transfer portal and end up here in Miami via Houston. Via Houston. Quincy Roche is the one in Temple. That's right. So before I get to Quincy Roche, it's fantastic. The kid had one of those seasons 2 years ago that was awesome, and he comes in with a lot of hype. Now, look. Can I give Manny Diaz some credit here? Because I think, we got to first look at it this way. Let's give Manny a lot of credit. Okay? He wasn't happy with his offense overall. He made the changes. If you're not happy with that coach, you make the changes. And he got a guy in Lashley that is, considered an up-and-coming star when it comes to offensive minds and running this kind of an offense that you need in today's college football, which is cool, man. I think it's fantastic that you're able to do that, to be honest with you. I think it's awesome. Now, that he deserves credit for that. And I know, they don't have a quarterback. We don't buy any of the guys. The N'Kosi Perry hype, he never lived up to it. He's not the guy, and I'm sorry. Can I go with the whole thing? If you're not accurate, you're not ever going to be accurate. He's just not going to be accurate. It's not the guy. Jaron, not the guy either, right? None of them. So you get D'Eriq King now, which is fantastic. You get Lashley, which is fantastic. Dude, you didn't have a kicker. I mean, I saw where Bubba Baxter is entering the transfer portal. Is he transferring to another country? So they get the kicker from FIU, who's superior to Bubba. And you make that move, right? Now you get the Quincy Roche kid who had 13 sacks last year, and Rousseau had 15 and a half. So now you've got two monsters, supposedly. That will help out your defense. On paper, okay? And that's where I got to tell you, we got to get excited to a certain extent, and then we have to kind of say, you got to take a step back. And, look, I think most of us want Manny to succeed because most of us wanted Manny. And Manny sucked last year. I mean, it was a disaster. It was embarrassing. And if Manny shows anything like that again this year, fire his ass as soon as possible. Okay? I'm the first guy to tell you that because you have to be objective about this. Now, I want Manny to succeed. And I got to give him a lot of love here that he's doing his best to fix the issues. Okay? Will it work? I don't know. It sounds great on paper, right? Lashley knows this stuff about offense, knows how to run today's offense and the spread, and knows how to generate points and yards and all that good stuff that we all know about, right? Knows how to develop quarterbacks too. Now you get a quarterback that had an incredible season 2 years ago. You add a kicker to fix a problem that would have won you a couple extra games, just the kicker alone. Now, you need to show that Lashley's competent, that D'Eriq King can play well under you. Okay? There can't be any excuses. He had 50 touchdowns for Houston. So somehow or another, he was an effective passer and runner at the college level. Make sure he's that now. I don't want any excuses. And Roche had 13 sacks, opposite of a guy that has 15 and a half. Roche should be even better now. Okay? Because the guy that's opposite of him is better than him. And you may double that. Well, you can't double both. The kicker, I mean, Bill's better than Bubba Baxter. I'm sorry for insulting you.
No, it's actually true. Back in the day,
No, but
playing,
I mean, it's just easy. You blindfolded.
I used to take all the footballs at the end of practice, sit there and drop kick from 20, then go to 25, 30, 35. Practice, practice, practice.
There you go. I told you he was better. They should have signed Bill. Bill,
I don't know about all that.
Why don't you enter the transfer portal? Anyway, so I got to give Manny a lot of love that he didn't dance around the problems. He didn't make excuses for the problems. He corrected them. And that's all we can ask for. Now you've got to get the results. That's why I got to kind of pump the brakes a little bit, right? Because Manny kind of made us all look like a bunch of idiots. I mean, let's be honest, right? We were all convinced, like, man, this guy's been a hell of a defensive coordinator. He's up and coming. He's ready to take the next step, and he wasn't. Now, maybe he was, and maybe things didn't go well for him, but he attacks the problem and he addresses it. Now let's see what the end result is. Will his teams be better prepared? Will they play better offense? Will they get more consistency from the quarterback position, from the kicking position? We'll find out. How much more dominant will the D-line be now that you added this guy? All of this, time will determine it all. I'm not going to get all hyped like I was about the Canes because they broke my heart this year. I mean, it was crushing to see how poorly prepared and coached they were. You have to admit that, right? Even if you want Manny to win, I want Manny to win. I want Manny to succeed. I don't want Manny fired. I get it for those of you out there that wanted him fired. I understand. He was terrible this year. But like I told you guys, I'm not big on firing a guy after a year. I want to give him that second chance. Well, so far, you have to say that Manny Diaz has handled the offseason the right way. Now, the transfer portal was not the panacea to Miami's problems last year. So who's to say that that's going to happen this year? Don't know. But time's going to tell. At least I am extremely happy that Manny Diaz is making what looks like are the proper changes. I'm not smart enough to exactly know that those are the changes you need. Like, those are the right people, in other words. I know the changes had to be made, but time is the only thing that's going to answer whether Roche will make a seamless transition and have another great year, whether De'Aaron King will come in and be the guy you saw 2 years ago for Houston. And Lashley, is he what everybody was billed? You know what I'm saying? It's like Bobrovsky. He was billed as, okay, we got the guy. Well, he hasn't played like it yet. So the prediction is great. The anticipation, the enthusiasm is fantastic. The expectations are dangerous. Because if they don't live up to it, then we end up with, broken hearts. And it's whether it's the University of Miami or whether it's the Florida Panthers. You know what I mean? And I know they won yesterday and they're winning as of late and all that, and it's nice. But, they have, come up short again this year. Let's see if they can correct it. We'll find out. But I like what the University of Miami is doing. I have to give Manny a lot of love for addressing all of this. You deserve that credit. 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's 322-1105 if you want to get in on the show. The other way to reach out to us is on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. And, of course, we are coming to you live from the Reese's Senior Bowl, the practices, and we're at Ladd-Peebles Stadium here in Mobile, Alabama. Practices start at 2 o'clock your time. They will start, and we'll be out here for the next two practices. We are going to go live till 2 o'clock, and then I am going to go roam the sidelines and maybe bring up a guest or two during that time. And these are other things that we will add to the broadcast. So stay with the YouTube channel there and all that good stuff and keep up with it. And we'll, of course, podcast everything that we post. One guy's putting nice love for Queensryche, Jess in Minnesota. Hey, listen, man, I enjoy this version of Queensryche. I think Todd LaTorre does an excellent job. Let's see. Hey, are you guys no YouTube? No, we got, I guess he was chiming in from Monday. No. Monday we didn't do anything, okay? We were just traveling on Monday. Big O, you are my drug of choice while listening to sports talk. You tell it like it is. When it's Arvada Canes, keep up with the great work. John from Stewart. And there you go. Thank you very much, John from Stewart. We appreciate that on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Mal from Virginia says the Finns have 6 quality receivers: Parker, Williams, Grant, Wilson, Ford, and Hearns. Who stays and who goes? I wish they would keep them all. Well, right now, Wilson is the guy out. I think Albert Wilson will get cut. So you really have 5. I don't think they'll keep Albert Wilson. He's too injury prone. It's not smart to keep Albert Wilson at this point. Part ways with him. It's time. Plus, by the time you're good, you don't know where that kid's going to be at that point. And the injuries got to scare you as it is. It's great that he came back, but he had motivation to come back from that injury because he's trying to lock down next year's salary and not get cut and miss out on it because he knows that when he gets cut, he won't have that salary in the NFL from anybody. Coming off that, it's a hip injury, man. For an injury-prone guy, I don't know if you really want to go with that. Since Breeze and Brady are not elite anymore, do you really need an elite QB at this point? Looks like old school running game and defense is enough to win a Super Bowl in the near future. As long as you have, as long as there is an elite QB, what do you think? Well, let me explain something to you. It's almost like you've got to kind of run into that situation. You know, you could draft player after player after player, but how do you know that you end up having that dominant defense until they finally put it all together? How do you know that you end up with that dominant offensive line and that explosive running game? Not a running game, but an explosive running game, a dominant one. That's just something that kind of seems to happen. It's not something that like, hey, we're drafting this, and we're going to develop a dominant running game and a dominant, line and all of that. Well, the Cowboys tried to do that, and they had it for a short time, but their line wasn't dominant this past year like it has been in the past. And they tried to have it, and it just didn't work out. And you have a quarterback that's a decent quarterback, because Dak is not a great quarterback, yet your defense was supposedly pretty good too. Well, it didn't work out for Dallas. They weren't able to kind of put that formula that you're talking about. It almost seems like it's not something that you really plan for unless you're the Baltimore Ravens. They planned to do the way they did it. Quarterback, limitations, throw a couple of routes, not go crazy with the arm, but the running game, his legs and Ingram's legs will carry us along with a dominant D. Well, it didn't work out. And Tennessee, that's kind of who they are too. And it didn't work out because the crap hit the fan. And when Josh Allen had to become a real quarterback, he couldn't. When Lamar Jackson had to become a real quarterback, he couldn't. When Ryan Tannehill needed to become a real quarterback, he couldn't. He never could. That's because none of those guys are ever going to be real QBs. They need everything perfect. And you're asking a team to go with the mindset of building the perfect offensive line with the perfect running game and the perfect defense. Man, that's hard. That's hard. And I know what you're saying while you're driving in your cars or sitting in your offices or at home watching this. You're saying, well, wait a minute. Oh, it's just as hard to find a franchise quarterback. I can't argue with that. You're right. You're right. But if you find the franchise quarterback, he can make up for deficiencies. When you have a deficiency, the quarterback you have will not make up for it, i.e. Josh Allen. Josh Allen looked great when he was catching a touchdown, right? Josh Allen looked great when he was running for 60 yards to set up the other score. But then all of a sudden, when they figured out the Bills and they couldn't get through the gimmicks and they had to, win the football game with a quarterback, Josh Allen checked out because he's not a real quarterback. Same thing with Lamar. They figured out the running game. They stopped him. Ingram was banged up. They didn't have the dominant running game. Lamar could not be himself. And you can point at his stats if you want to be, use the stats don't tell you the whole story. He couldn't be dominant because he can't pass. Not a passer. He can complete a couple balls. He can make some nice throws every once in a while because they're all athletes. Josh Allen will make a throw or two once in a while, or you're like, wow. That doesn't mean he's a great passer. Ryan Tannehill will make a couple great passes too. Doesn't mean he's a great passer. I keep trying to burn it into people's minds. These are athletes. They're great athletes. So they're going to do things that will wow you every once in a while. But it doesn't mean they're great quarterbacks. It's a huge difference. An enormous difference. So the act of thinking that you can just build the perfect situation like that, that's hard to imagine. It's just so tough. You know what I'm saying?
The toughest thing about it, your offense, running game, takes a lot of guys working as a single unit, takes time. Defense, the same thing. Marvin Lewis, when he set up that Ravens defense, everybody had to learn they had to cover their space, their area. That's the only way that defense could work. It took time. It took years.
Yep.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Oh, and you kind of run into it. It's not something that you really developed with an eye and a vision of, okay, well, we're going to have our mediocre quarterback that we just need him to make a couple of plays, and we'll have this dominant running game and defense and offensive line. And I don't know if anybody's really ever gone out that way like the Ravens did this year. Okay? I said, all right, well, our kid can run and he can make a couple passes for us. Let's design it where he makes, they got him with the crossing routes and that kind of stuff. They got him only throwing a couple routes. And then after that, it's trying to figure it all out. So I just find a quarterback. Try to find a playmaking quarterback. Try finding a franchise guy that on the day that your running game's not working, he can make up for it.
There is one thing about the playoffs that I absolutely loved. This league going totally pass happy, you know what I mean, and being all about that. The fact that defense and running the ball showed in the playoffs, this is what wins football. Old school football, man.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that. I think it's really cool that we're able to see that develop here, and it shows again that coaches are, if they can win, they don't care how they do it, man. They just don't care. They're going to try to win however they can. And if they can run the ball, that's a much safer way of doing things, and they all know it. And they know they're also going to have less turnovers when you do stuff like that. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. And we're going to have Manny Navarro join us here at the top of the hour. So we'll talk a little with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report with Manny Navarro. And then after Manny Navarro at the bottom of the hour at 12:30 or 1:30, I'm sorry, your time, 1:30, we are going to talk a little football with Jim Miller. So we'll have a little fun with Jim from Sirius Radio and former Bears quarterback. So we'll have a little fun with Jim. We'll talk about the QBs here at the Senior Bowl. We'll talk about the QBs in general going into the draft, his thoughts on that, and then obviously get his predictions on the NFL playoffs. Super Bowl, obviously, down to that. And we'll talk a little QB philosophy with him. In fact, I'll ask him about that conversation about building up the dominant running games and the dominant defenses and things like that more often than not, teams really aren't trying to build that. They kind of run into it. Only the Ravens, I believe, are the team that really try to build that. You know what I mean? Even the Broncos, when they won it with Manning, they thought they were going to have Peyton Manning. And then they figured out, Peyton Manning's broken down. We got to figure out a way of winning this thing however we can. And that's what they did. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. If you want to get in, we'll tell you, folks, it's really simple. 786-322-1105. And that is the accidentlawfirm.com text line. And, of course, the program is brought to you by Mudias Dental, the implant and Invisalign experts. Hey, go on down there. Get your free checkout right now, man. You want Invisaligns? You need an implant? Go see Eric Mudias and the great doctors there at Mudias Dental, mudiasdental.com, 305-821-0231. I wear my Invisaligns every day, and you can too, folks, so you can straighten out your teeth, man. Every 2 weeks, I change my Invisaligns, and I have a new pair that I'm wearing. And I have my new pair on now, actually, that I'm wearing from Invisalign. Call them, 305-821-0231. Implants, Invisalign, cleaning your teeth, cavities, whatever it is you need, man. A root canal, a crown, call. They have state-of-the-art equipment and a service that is second to none. I know because I'm experiencing it myself, and I would never send you anywhere where I wouldn't do it myself. MudiasDental.com. All righty, welcome back. We're going to get Manny Navarro on at 2 o'clock, actually. He pushed it back here, so we are on the fly as always. Jim Miller will join us at the bottom of the hour at 1:30. So we'll have a little fun. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can send it in at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. 1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show, as always. Reach out to us there, as always, on Twitter. So Manny will join us at 2 o'clock. We will have Jim Miller at 1:30. So we will do a little more talk here for the next half hour and get into a couple of things. Congratulations to the Heat last night. They, in overtime, win 118-113 against the Kings. And, the one thing that I would tell you about this game is, Armando, I just saw your tweet where you put death taxes and Big O at the Senior Bowl, facts of life. Enjoy, my friend. Oh, that's funny. What's it called? With the Heat, winning that game yesterday, if I'm a Heat fan, look, without Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy, we'll get into Jimmy's issue in a minute, but without him, and with Jimmy, you got to understand, Jimmy has been a really good addition for this team in the sense of not just leadership, but the glue factor that he brings to it, because he's a guy that is willing to take a backseat in scoring because he wants to allow his teammates to get involved. And I find that to be really, really interesting how you're able to do that and get away with that overall, because a lot of stars, they come in and they want to be the guy and take the shot and every shot at the end of every game and all of that. And he is willing to defer. He is willing to help develop others into being leaders. And that might have been his frustration with some of the other stops in Chicago and Minnesota with some of the young guys there, that maybe he sees that there's more dog in these guys, like in Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, compared to some of the guys he played with in Chicago or Minnesota. I don't know. You know what I mean? When I look at Karl Anthony Towns, I look at a lot of talent, and then there's our moments that I'm looking, I'm going, are you a dog? You know what I'm saying? So maybe there's something to what Jimmy is doing, but or the method behind his madness. But one of the things that I like about, remember, yesterday you have no Jimmy, right? So that's one less guy handling the ball, knowing how to handle the ball. Because if you notice, Jimmy doesn't have a high turnover rate either compared to his assists. And he's very productive with the assists every single night. Whereas Kendrick Nunn yesterday had 6 assists, but he also had 6 turnovers. Bam Adebayo had 5 turnovers yesterday. That's a lot of turnovers, and that's what happens when you touch the ball a lot. You're going to turn over the ball. On a normal rate, you're going to turn over the ball. I don't care who you are, if you're Kobe, if you're Magic Johnson, if you're Steve Nash, all these guys that, that the offense runs through them, they're going to have turnovers. Now, there's going to be more than normal because they're young guys and they're not seasoned. So that's another reason why they had to overcome that yesterday in that game, that they lost an experienced ball handler, not just a ball handler, but an experienced one, which is enormous, ladies and gentlemen. And then obviously you lose the leadership. And that game didn't look good. That game looked like they were going to lose that game. And somehow or another, they're able to take it to overtime and find a way to win. And one Heat fan yesterday goes to me, wow, man, that was ugly. And I said to him, hey, man, it's a win. You know what I mean? That's what you got to accept that and appreciate that, by the way. Okay, that's the other thing. I get it. The Kings aren't a great team, and you expect more from the Miami Heat, but they didn't have their leader. And I know that they've beaten even the Bucks without Jimmy Butler. So they've I think after yesterday, they're now 4-2 without Jimmy Butler in the 6 games that he's missed. I just think, let's not get a little crazy. They're 19-1 at home. They're 30-13 overall on the season. They may not play at that amazing pace that they were on in the first half, where they were on for 58 games. But let's say they end up in 53. Okay? Maybe they're on a 5 less game clip for the second half. Are you really going to complain if they end up with 53 wins? I didn't expect them to have 53 wins. I didn't expect them to be one of the top teams in the conference. I told you guys that. I expected them to be at the bottom of the conference. So, for them to beat the Kings, I get it. Not a great team, but you found a way to win on a day where you didn't play your best. And you played a better overtime too, on top of all of that. I like what I saw, at least. It showed me character, that you were able to overcome a night where your leader's out, you didn't play well, and I know it's not a great team, but you still found a way to win the game. As for Jimmy Butler, now, So Jimmy misses this. I don't know if he's going to miss another game or two. It's up to 6 games now in the first half of the season. I know you can call it technically the second half yesterday because it was the 43rd, right? 43rd. So actually 2 games in to the second half. But I the one thing that I wonder with Jimmy is how much of his damage is already from wear and tear. Because you got to feel that that's going to be a problem. And it's only going to get worse as his career goes on as a Miami Heat player. This is why when they made this trade, and I'll stay consistent on this, I said, hey, this trade doesn't mean anything unless you get another star next to him this year or next year. Now, Bam looks like it could be that guy. Now you got to take advantage. Can they? What kind of space can they create for next year to try to add another piece, possibly to go along with the young guys? How much more can the young guys mature that they can get to a point that they can help you get deep into the playoffs? Not just make the playoffs. Because, remember, you've gone now from, well, not you've gone. I should not say that. I should say it this way. People like me that thought you were a 7-8 seed, okay, we didn't expect you to be an impactful team. Now, you're one of the best teams in the league. You're definitely one of the best teams in the conference. We're now expecting you to make a impact in the playoffs. Whereas at the beginning of the year, I told you, oh, they're a 7-8 seed. They make the playoffs. They get bounced. So what? That's who they are. This has changed now, right? The way we're looking at it, the way we're thinking about them, all of that has changed. Now we look at it and we say, okay, now we have more expectations on them. You know? And with Jimmy, I hope that you're able to live up to the expectations that these young guys are building, the flexibility that Miami is trying to open up either this offseason or definitely next offseason, that they'll have all that cap space available and they'll be able to go out and add a real significant piece to the puzzle here, and a significant piece that will be more than happy to join considering the way the young guys have developed around Jimmy and Bam. Because all of a sudden now, if you're a star, you're thinking, well, dude, I'm playing with Jimmy and Bam and a bunch of young guys. It's not Jimmy and a bunch of young guys. No. It's Jimmy and Bam now. Bam now gets his name mentioned, not a bunch of young guys. No. Bam Adebayo is a player. And what I'm leading to is I'm hoping that these injuries that we're starting to see from Jimmy Butler isn't a Tom Thibodeau type of thing that's been lingering because of the wear and tear that Tom Thibodeau has put that guy through and puts his teams through. You know what I'm saying? That's where I got to be a little concerned about those injuries and him missing that time. I'm just saying. I'm just being honest. Okay? I have to be a little concerned with that. We'll see. Dragon, by the way, had 18 last night, and the team had 26 assists in their 42 baskets. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. That selfless way of playing has added so much to them. It's nice to see. It sets a great example for all the guys in that locker room. Even if you're not wanting to, actually help out or contribute, i.e. Deion Waiters, even though he may not want to believe it, but deep down inside, he's got to watch it and say, wow, everything that they preach, these guys are doing. And I'm the idiot that's on the outside looking in, and I don't do it. That kind of stuff. So Heat, by the way, they are off tonight. Wednesday, they take on Washington at 6:30. The Panthers they have continued now their run, and they've been playing better hockey as of late, winning a lot of games. Now they're beating a lot of bad teams. And last night's a hell of a win because it's a road win, and we've talked about this where the Panthers now are playing. They play the Wild. They still have to go to Vancouver. I'm sorry, they still have to go to Chicago, Montreal, Toronto, and Columbus. Excuse me. And so these are going to be brutal tests for them because they're road games too on top of all of that. You went on the road. That's a hell of a win. I think we're going to learn a lot from them on this road trip and see if they can kind of change things around. And yesterday, hey, Achari with the game winner, and you end up winning 5-4 late in that game, 3 goals in the third period. They're not playing great hockey right now, and they're still not playing the kind of hockey that makes me feel like, yeah, you're going to make a deep run in the playoffs. But at least they're winning as of late. Now let's see if they can build on this and get to a point where you're not just winning, but you're winning and you have the attitude that you could go deep into the playoffs. I think that's really, really, really important for the Florida Panthers. Tonight, they're at Chicago at 7:30. There you go. So we got to find a bar somewhere so we can watch Coach Q make his comeback to Chicago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is an interesting situation. You have the skills. You can do this.
You have the technology.
You know exactly
we can
where
build them
you
stronger.
You already know where we want to go. You've already got a place in your head.
What do you mean?
A bar tonight to go watch the game. You already got a plan of attack, sir.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know a bar where we can go.
Bada bing.
Yeah.
You're astounding in this capacity, sir.
Yeah. Well, 20 years here, bro. It's not astounding. It's pathetic if I didn't know where to go after 20 years here, okay? You should rip me like 8 new holes, okay? If I did not.
Oh, we will. We're saving that for later, man.
Oh, well, yeah, I'll give you plenty of material for that, but I got to know where to go for a bar here after you've been here 20 years. I think I've been in every scenario possible here. Plus, when I've stayed here, when the schedule was different, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were the important ones, and I've stayed for the game on Saturday, and Thursday and Friday, the NFL clears out, and there's very few people here. Yeah, you got to find some things to do sometimes. You got to entertain yourself when you're out here sometimes. See, and there isn't a concert every day. Although I was thinking, when we go to Vegas, technically we got a concert almost every day, 2 spots open, technically. Monday we arrive, we can see Bruno Mars. Tuesday we could go see the Righteous Brothers. Wednesday we go see Bryan Adams. Thursday we have nobody yet. Friday we go see Eric Burden and the Animals. Saturday we see April Wine. And Sunday we still don't have anybody yet. So Thursday and Sunday are open. But technically we got 5 concerts.
We're going to the Hoover Dam one day, bro, right?
Yeah, but that's during the day. That's not at night.
Oh, okay. You're talking about nighttime activity.
Yeah. Concerts are at night. So, yeah. But, I mean, technically, not that we're really going to go to all of those. I don't think we're really going to the Righteous Brothers. You know what I mean? Bruno's a possibility on Monday. Bryan Adams for sure on Wednesday. Eric Burden and the Animals is looking really good for Friday. I am not missing April Wine on Saturday. There is no way in the world I'm missing April Wine on Saturday. Okay? We got to see me some Sign of the Gypsy Queen there. A little live action on that one. So what do you think out there? Okay, you guys are watching now on YouTube, okay? And remember, give us the thumbs up for those of you watching. But vote in on YouTube, okay? Vote in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. You can send us a text, okay? I am contemplating All right. Bill definitely wants to go. Should we go on Wednesday, travel, get in the car and go over to New Orleans and go see Zion Williamson make his NBA debut? Is that something that we should be at if we have an opportunity? Tickets, by the way, are like $20, $30 each. So they're not expensive. It's not something that's breaking the bank whatsoever. So you guys tell me out there, what should we do? Should we stay here, hang out with some NFL people, go to some of the bars, try to talk to them? Or should we go to New Orleans and see Zion Williamson do his thing, his debut with the Pelican, fly? You tell me, what should we do? Yay or nay?
Look, the only thing I was thinking when I heard debut, immediately, us going to the Heat Magic that opened that season. It was Shaquille O'Neal's pro debut that we were at. So to add Zion, it's a nice little tandem there.
Okay. All right. So
a lot of effort. There is a lot. There will be a lot of. I mean, what is it? An hour and 45? 2 hours each way.
It's a drive. It's a drive. It's a drive. It's not a short drive. You get back late.
And we're just going to go watch the game. Obviously, we're not going to do nothing.
No.
In Bourbon Street and the French Quarter.
No. When I got to drive back,
when
I got to drive to Mobile back, I do not have one drink.
Right.
Nothing.
No, it's understandable.
No freaking way I'm doing that stuff. I am not playing that stupid game. I will be smart about it, but question is, do we do it? Is it worth it? What would you guys do? Okay? What would you guys do? Would you go see Zion Williamson make his pro debut? All right? I want to see on the YouTube chat board what you guys think we should do. All right? And, of course, on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Jim Miller, by the way, will join us in 10 minutes. We'll talk. I can see him there. He's got his glasses on. He's preparing. He's working hard. Jim works his ass off, as always. Appreciate him. Known Jim for a long time. Easily 15 years, man. Easily 15 years that I've known him. So we appreciate him coming out here and talking a little Senior Bowl and a little. We're gonna do a lot of quarterback talk also on the show. And yes, we'll talk about Jordan Love because out here, and if you're watching the Reese's Senior Bowl, and if you're going to watch the practices and all of that, Jordan Love is a guy you definitely want to look at. Anthony Gordon from Washington State is another guy that I'm super intrigued with that I want to check out. Justin Herbert, a guy that I don't buy personally, but, it is what it is. We'll see if people, if he changes people's minds out there about himself, because this is one guy that a lot of people look at and they say, no, this is not a guy that I want on my team. So you tell me on Justin Herbert, but he's a guy we'll be watching. Jalen Hurts and Shea Patterson and Steve Montez are other guys out there with certain abilities, but I don't know if you would call it a complete resume of talent that you would need in order to succeed out here. So those are some of the quarterbacks. Jordan Love and Anthony Gordon are my top two priorities in this week. Yeah, I want to see Justin Herbert, but I almost kind of know enough about Justin Herbert that I'm scared already that I'd rather not take the chance. Seriously, that's how I am about the guy. And I would not be surprised that a lot of people are saying the right things, but he becomes one of those guys that drops and drops and drops in the draft. Darius Anderson, a running back from TCU, is another guy. Gotta be able to show that he can catch the ball and make some big plays out here too. Offensive tackles, Josh Jones from Houston. Prince Tega Wango also is a guy from Auburn that you want to check out. Jonah Jackson, a guard from Ohio State. Logan Stenberg from Kentucky is another one. Couple guards that you want to look at. Zach Baum from Wisconsin. Also, and Carter Coughlin from Minnesota. DNs that you want to check out. Trayvon Hill is here also. He's a guy that a lot of NFL people are intrigued with. So he can boost his value a little bit because of the potential that he shows. Linebackers, Francis Bernard. All right? My friends call me Psycho. You call me Francis, and I'll kill you. I wonder if I walked up to Francis and I called him Francis, will he say, hey, I'm going to have to kill you? Akeem Davis Gator, another guy that's a linebacker a lot of people know from Appalachian State, and they're looking to see what he does here. Free safeties. Miami needs a cover safety, right? Ashton Davis from California is a guy that's got a boatload of range and athleticism. He fits the free safety position, has cover skills. Remember what I told you all year now. From now on, when they look at free safeties, the guy that they draft will have great cover skills because that seems to be a requirement that they've got to have. Terrell Burgess from Utah is another guy that you can expect to be, people will be looking at. Those are some of the players that you need to look at this week in the Reese's Senior Bowl. If you're watching any of the practices, if you're, checking out the replays, whatever, you're looking at the game, these are some of the players that you definitely want to look at this week at the Reese's Senior Bowl. Love it. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program as we take you, of course, till about 2:30. Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant wants now to return to the Cowboys. Okay, isn't this the team that he has spent like the last 2 years like ripping on social media? On how predictable they were, and he was taking shots at Jason Garrett and all of that. Does he realize that Jerry Jones tried to walk on eggshells as much as possible with Jason Garrett because of the respect he has for Jason, and that his dad also worked in that organization as a scout for many years? And this is really hard for him. Even though he knew he had to make the change, he didn't go with it in the regular manner of, hey, we're making changes and, boot him out quickly. And all. It was kind of a slow, drawn-out process because of what he has meant, right? Does Dez Bryant understand that by taking all those shots, the Cowboys are not going to bring you back, dude? And it's a stupid idea at this point. What does Dez Bryant have left in the tank? He's old. He didn't run routes before. When he recently retired, he started putting out that he was working on his route running because everybody knew that he was an ad-lib guy. So wait a minute. Hold on, dude. You've been in the league like 8 or 9 years. Now is when you're starting to work on your route running? You mean you weren't doing that in high school and college? Forget the NFL. Of course you got to do it in the NFL. It's weird, man. I saw that story, and then he wants to play for the Cowboys now. Yeah, who else would give you a chance? And I know they need another guy, and they need a playmaking tight end. Not that he's that, but come on, man. Really? You're going to bring that guy in? Nobody's going to give Dez Bryant another shot. He had limitations, but he got away with the athleticism because he was such a freak. He could out-jump you, overpower you, all those good tangibles that you need as a wide receiver. But he doesn't have those tangibles as much anymore. He was never a burner. He's slower now. And it's not like he's jumping over people at this point. I just found it hilarious that you've been ripping this team now for a while. And all of a sudden, now you want to play again for them?
Lazy player.
Yes.
Bottom line. Yeah, when you just use your talent and that's it and you don't want to work your craft, you're lazy. And you really don't care. I'm going to do bare minimum, get my paycheck, thank you.
Yep. That's you basically described them to a T. VSS West Pines, I can describe it to a T. Fantastic. Incredible service. Whether it's Jose or Jose 2.0, Sasha, the responsive one, of course, Alex, Frog. You're going to love all of Jason, Trex, by the way. Go see all of them out there at vsswestpines.com. And with VSS West Pines and all of our sponsors, please mention our name. Okay, when you see our sponsors, mention our name. Moody Dental, Toyota of Hollywood, Craig's Acura, you name it, mention our name. From cigarellos, you can roll your own brand. They've got all kinds of great papers, from raw to the smoking brand. Hookahs, all ranges, all price ranges, from $19.99 and up. They've also got the Khalil Mamoon Egyptian made one, and they've got the Seth, what's his name? Seth Rogen one. No, not Seth Rogen. What is it? Oh, I forgot the guy's
Pineapple Express. Is that what you're talking about?
No, but they've got a water pipe that the Seth guy endorses. It is a badass water pipe made in Germany. Check it out. CBD products, flour, tinctures, edibles, from chocolates to gummies, jelly beans, ice creams, women's face masks. My wife loves it, by the way. CBD topicals and salve for pain, transdermal patches. VSSWestPines.com. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. Jim Miller from Sirius Radio joins us.